What's going on, everyone? My name is Bob Owen, and today I'm going to be reviewing the hydraulic stand by RougeCare. So the stand is actually equipped to sustain the weight and hold the weight of a Pro G3, two Pro G3s, and a Max G3. Now from the get-go, it does have wheels that are already built inside, so in terms of maneuverability, this thing actually moves around quite well. Even when it is fully loaded, you could see that I'm actually moving it around quite well. The only little tricky part for me is that because I have a gym floor that's extremely soft, just with the weight of it, it's not naturally easy to move around anything on it, let alone just the panel itself. So even me wheeling around bikes and benches, I actually do struggle here. So the fact that this moves around as well as it does with the top heavy weight distribution is actually fairly impressive. I thought for sure as I was moving and as I was sliding it, it was going to become a factor of being able to put it back into place, but it actually moves around quite well. So the actual footprint of the stand is actually very small. It's a 25 by 60 inch footprint, which was the first thing that stood out as a concern to me outside of the moving and around maneuverability of it. I was really unsure if this was actually going to be able to sustain the sheer size and movement of the panel of the Pro G3, of just one Pro G3 panel. So the layout you see is actually two Pro G3s, which is the exact same size as the Max G3. Now, in terms of maneuverability on this, you could see that it actually holds up pretty well. There's not really much of a difference between when I had it with one panel or with two panels, but honestly, I don't really think it needs to really matter about the single panel. What you're really wondering is whether it can actually be safely used with two panels in the oversized position. So, you could see in the video clip that I am giving it quite a decent push and decent tug, and it's really holding up quite well. Rocks right back into place, so I was never really worried about being able to get underneath it and struggling with that at all. It was very simple. I could just, have it in place, slide underneath, and I was good to go. And finally, in terms of bringing it up and down, the pedal is actually quite easy. It's very basic. You just push the pedal down and you can pull it up, push it back down. The only thing I would say is that I think this may have to do with the actual weight of the panels on it. It does make it a little bit more difficult to slide it up and down. When you don't have any weight on it, if you press on it, it usually with a little kind of assistance, it'll slide right up in the top position, but still pushing it back down is a little bit tricky. But then again, I'd rather have it be able to go up and down pretty comfortably, because the lifting portion is what I'm more concerned about, because then I'm actually gonna have to use arm strength and push it up. Now, if you're not as strong as a 6'3" strength coach to be able to just press the button and push it up, you're going to want that extra assistance by the actual hydraulic pressure. So it doesn't really require that much work to get it pushed up, but I think because of the top heaviness of it, it kind of pulls it into an angle and might be making it a little bit more difficult. But overall, it's actually quite easy to move around in comparison to having to press pins and slide it down and tie up the pins. And honestly, once you're trying to do that with the actual weight of it, you're going to be losing your mind just trying to get it into place. So this is way easier than having a pin set where you would have to push the pins and drop it. Way simpler. Overall, for price point, ease of use, this was a fantastic purchase. I honestly really impressed with the way it kind of turned out. I think if there was anything I would have liked it to do was maybe be able to go up and down a little bit easier, but then again, with the hydraulic factor of it, honestly, it wasn't that much of a big deal. For me, I was really more pleased with the comfort level and the safety and security that it had, given the small footprint, which allows it to really be able to kind of get into tight areas, especially underneath the massage table when you're trying to adjust the positioning. You don't want to have that huge footprint that's kind of bumping into the legs and causing problems as you're trying to move it. That small footprint allows it to be very agile and be able to move inside those small areas quite easily.